Okay, so I just finished talking to you guys about my finished books, and now I'm going to talk to you about books I've started but haven't finished. They include all sorts of books. There are only about 12 of them, but they include everything from Kiss Like a Star, Smooching Secrets from the Silver Screen, which just kind of tells you about the many kinds of kisses that people do in movies and TV, which I think is kind of interesting and fascinating. And it's written for like dudes mainly, but it's pink, which is kind of interesting to me considering that we consider pink a feminine color, and guys who are reading this book might be considered something weird, because men are normally not, you know, secure in their sexuality. So this is an interesting book. This book, Wicked, which I have started about 3 times, and every time I try and finish it, something pops up and I have to read another book, and I have to set this one down for 3 weeks or a month and a half, and I always forget what happens, so I have to go back and start rereading it again. That'll happen with this time again too, but hopefully eventually I will finish reading this. I like to play poker a lot, so I have The Psychology of Poker, which is a fascinating book. And some of it I don't agree with, but I'm entitled to my own opinions. But this is a very fascinating book. And it talks all about things that I find interesting, because I really like psychology. There's this A Beautiful World book, and it's about this girl who meets an heiress when she's on vacation. Her dad's a tutor. She's poor but wants to be rich, and the rich girl is rich but kind of wants to go back to being like poor. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it, but it's a good book. I haven't finished reading it. I've only gotten about halfway through it, but I find it endlessly fascinating because I like books like Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars, and I think this is another very good, interesting book. What would your character do? I've gone through a lot of these skits, but I haven't gone through all of them, and I find them actually completely fascinating, even though I don't agree with some of the results that the book says. One of the things, I will try and find an excerpt of one of the things I don't find accurate. Let's see. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. But this is a good book for people who love writing. I strongly suggest it. I think it's an amazing book. It comes from the Writer's Digest books publishing company, and I have like 12 of their books. It's actually a little creepy how many books I have of them. I'm probably going on about something that people don't care about. Pocket Muse. I love this book. I use it for inspiration a lot. The glare is really bad in here. But I always flip through it, and I can always find something else in it, so that one's really cool. I've started on the 5th or 6th Pretty Little Liars book. Again, I have not finished it. I've only gotten about 2 chapters in it. It's actually pretty interesting. I've read most of the other books, and I'm just kind of waiting on that one. This one is perhaps one of my favorite, especially recently, Muggles and Magic, an unofficial guide to J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter phenomenon. It talks about her charities, it talks about her life, it talks about fan trips and conferences, and all sorts, and the magic of Harry Potter in its finest. And all the news and buzz and about the books and all the stuff by WB, which is amazing. And my bookmark is becoming wimpy. and losing threads. So we're going to stop with that one for right now. This one is written by the same guy, Fact, Fiction, and Folklore, in Harry Potter's world. I started reading this one. It got really complicated and hurt my brain for a while, so I stopped reading it. The first Gossip Girl book, I've never actually read it all the way through. I've started reading it, I got about 2 chapters in and then stopped because I had to read another book. Then there is The Great Gatsby, which the Vlogbrothers, specifically John, is doing some stuff with, so I will be reading this one more in depth eventually, actually probably like next week. And then there's this one, Hocus Pocus, A Tale of Magnificent Magicians, with an intro by Daniel Radcliffe. I thought this one was really interesting. I thought, since I got into the Harry Potter kick, I thought I needed it too. So, okay. Those are all my read but not finished books. Or started reading but not finished.